2014 is here. That means it's time to reveal my top 10 most anticipated for this year. 2014 looks to be a pretty exciting year for film for me as someone who really loves indie film because there's a lot of independent films that look like they'll be coming out this year. On my list last year were a couple of movies that still never came out, and I didn't put them on my list again, but I wanted to mention them because I still haven't seen them and I'm still highly anticipating them. Those would be A Long Way Down, which is the adaptation of Nick Hornby's novel, and it stars Aaron Paul, Pierce Brosnan, Toni Collette, and Imogen Poots. And the other one is Mood Indigo, which is my number 2 on last year's list, and that's the one with Audrey Tautou, and it's a French film directed by Michel Gondry that looks really quirky and cute. Also, I went to 2 film festivals last year, so I've seen a lot of movies that are going to come out in 2014. Hopefully, I mean, I'm not sure if all of them are actually going to come out, but the reason why certain films aren't on this list is because I've seen them already. So films like Palo Alto, which is probably my favorite of the year so far, The Double, which is Richard Ayoade's film with Jesse Eisenberg, or things like Enemy, Denis Villeneuve's film with Jake Gyllenhaal, or The F Word, which is probably going to change its title, but with Zoe Kazan and Daniel Radcliffe. Night Moves, the Kelly Reichardt film, and what maybe would have been my most anticipated of the year, The Disappearance of Eleanor Rigby, Him and Her, is incredible. It's already one of my favorites of this year as well. And then one film that I really wish I fit into my top 10, but it kind of fell out. The Fault in Our Stars, which is based on John Green's teen novel. I really loved that novel about 2 kids who have cancer who fall in love. It stars Shailene Woodley. And the director is Josh Boone, who directed Writers, otherwise known as Stuck in Love, which was one of my favorite honorable mentions, actually, of 2013. I don't think I even got to mention that in my video. I had to cut out all my honorable mentions because my video was so long. But I think he's a really promising director, Josh Boone, and I'm really excited for the adaptation of The Fault in Our Stars. Alright, so I'm going to get into my top 10. I know more about some films than others, but based on a lot of the people working on them is how I decided it, plus the plot lines. Plus, there's this really great article on Indiewire. I'll link it in the video. It's like 50 films, 50 independent films that they want to see in theaters this year, so I guess they're all basically done. A lot of them are going to be at Sundance Film Festival. I wish I could go, but they're all films that will probably come out this year. Some of them are on my list. My number 10 is David Cronenberg's Map to the Stars. So I'm excited about this film because I really like David Cronenberg, but okay, I have a really guilty confession. At this point, I've only seen one of his films. I'm very aware of all of his other films, and it's just been this struggle to catch up. I've only seen Videodrome, which is amazing. And I went to the David Cronenberg exhibit at the Tiffel Lightbox, which made me, really needing to catch up with the rest of his films. But the premise for this movie, I mean, basically it's a satire about Hollywood. And if David Cronenberg's going to do it, it's going to be pretty dark and twisted, which I love. And the cast looks really great. Julianne Moore, Robert Pattinson, who was in his last film, Cosmopolis, Mia Wasikowska, John Cusack, Carrie Fisher. I'm just really excited just because of the kind of dark satire kind of film that I know it will be. So, my number 9 most anticipated is Mike Cahill's I, Origins. I'm excited for this film because I love Another Earth. It's one of my favorite movies. I love Britt Marling, who's going to star in this. I love everything she ever did, has ever done. They're obviously a great pair of collaborators, and this film will be premiering at Sundance, so I guess we'll get early word on it very soon. But it's basically about a molecular biologist and his partner who discover evidence that could have great impact on society. And they're very topical in their films. They're very relevant, resonating, deep, thought-provoking kind of films that Mike Cahill and Britt Marling usually make. So I'm really excited for that, and she's just an incredible actress as well, so. My number 8 most anticipated is Christopher Nolan's Interstellar. I think a lot of people are excited for this film, have heard about this film. There is a teaser trailer already out for it. Even though it really is a teaser, it tells you not very much about what this movie's about. It is about a team of space travelers who go through a wormhole, and just that concept, it's kind of mind blowing. It's like, we've never really seen anything like this. I mean, we have seen things like it, but not exactly what this is. And Christopher Nolan is obviously an incredible director. He's given us things like Inception, Memento, and The Dark Knight, the Batman Begins trilogy. I think it's going to be this really crazy, mind-blowing kind of ride. It'll probably be, special effects heavy and all that stuff. And the cast is really incredible. Matthew McConaughey, Anne Hathaway, Jessica Chastain. Yeah, I'm sure this will just be like that huge sci-fi, mind-blowing film of the year, and I'm really excited for it. My number 7 film is David Fincher's Gone Girl. I'm excited for Gone Girl because I've read the book. It's one of the more recent books that I've read, and it's really, really good novel, like a really enticing read. You just can't put it down. And I don't really read thrillers in general, so this one just really captured me. This movie is being directed by David Fincher, which is obviously really exciting. He's really good at this kind of a film. Seven is one of my favorite movies of all time. And the cast is kind of weird. Actually, if you've read the book, it's not exactly maybe who I would have pictured for some people, but I do like Ben Affleck. He's going to star, and Rosamund Pike is going to play the lead female character. And apparently they've done a whole rewrite of the third act of the novel. It's going to be completely different in the movie, which I don't know how I feel about it. The book is an infuriating read. The ending in the book makes me really angry. And as much as it makes me angry, it's also a good thing that it makes me angry. I don't know. I like books that just make me go, like, what? Like, why? Like, why did it end like that? But it's still a good thing, I guess. I think if they had kept the ending of the novel in the movie, it would have really made audiences upset. But I think it could have been this really twisted, like, weird, like, catch you off guard kind of ending. And I think I would have liked to see that play out in the movie, but I guess we're not going to get that. So I'm curious what they're going to do with it, and there is some really strange casting in this movie. Like, Neil Patrick Harris is in it, and Tyler Perry is in it, but I'm not gonna let that hinder my excitement for the film. So yeah, Gone Girl. My number 6 most anticipated is Lars von Trier's Nymphomaniac. I'm excited for this film because it's Lars von Trier. I really like him as a director. I think he's kind of crazy, and this film looks to be obviously very crazy. It's this epic story about this woman's compulsive sexual life. She's a nymphomaniac. Charlotte Gainsbourg stars. I really love her, and she's probably going to do an incredible job. Then there's people like Stellan Skarsgård, Shia LaBeouf, that are in this movie. I know some people who've seen the first half. It's being released as 2 separate parts because it's like 5 or 6 hours long, so obviously the theater won't release that. So it's been cut in half into part 1 and part 2, which are going to come out a month between each other. And I know some people who've seen the first part who live in Europe, and I'm jealous of them. And they all say really good things about it. I'm just really curious. It's kind of like not the kind of movie you see in theaters very often, so I think it'll be really, really intriguing and interesting. And Lars von Trier, it's not just going to be like this sex film. It's going to be, this kind of deep meditation and really haunting, I'm sure, kind of film. So my number 5 most anticipated is Wes Anderson's The Grand Budapest Hotel. This is the kind of film where I'm really going based off of the trailer and based off of the filmmaker and the cast. There's not much of a plot synopsis right now. It's just basically about a hotel concierge who becomes friends with a younger employee, and I guess their kind of adventures or whatever in the hotel. but it's got a very Wes Anderson kind of feel. Obviously, it's his movie, but the trailer, it's kind of like Wes Anderson to the max. It looks so quirky. The set design and the color and everything about it just looks really fun. I really like his style, and the cast is really great. Ralph Fiennes is in the leading role. Willem Dafoe, Adrian Brody, Jeff Goldblum, Harvey Keitel, Jude Law, Bill Murray, Edward Norton, Saoirse Ronan. Just keep name dropping people. They're all in this movie, and I don't know. I love Wes Anderson. I think it'll be just a fun, quirky film. My number 4 most anticipated is Yorgos Lanthimos' The Lobster. I'm excited for this film because I really like Dogtooth, which is the director's last film, which is this really disturbing look at this family who secludes their children from society and what would happen and what does happen to them. It's like depressing and dark. And the plot of this film is pretty crazy as well. And it's going to be like, disturbing and awkward and weird and all those things. He's a Greek director. This film stars Ben Whishaw, Olivia Colman, Léa Seydoux, and Jason Clarke. And it's about, in the future, women have to go to this hotel and find their life partner, and they have 45 days to do it. And if they don't, they're transformed into animals and released into the woods. That in itself makes this movie really intriguing, really exciting, and the director, he's really cool. His films just have like these really intense plot lines that really say something about society in some way, and I think this will be a really, really interesting film, so I'm really excited for it. I hope it comes out this year, because it's one I'm not really sure about the release date at all. My number 3 most anticipated is Zach Braff's Wish I Was Here. I'm really excited for this film because I love Garden State. It's one of my favorite movies, and Zach Braff hasn't made a movie since then because I guess he hasn't had the funding for it. He had to put this one on Kickstarter. It's going to premiere at Sundance, and it's a coming-of-age story. It's about Aiden Bloom, Zach Braff's character, who's a struggling actor. He's a father, he's a husband, and I guess he's having some sort of midlife crisis. He's 35, doesn't know what his life is or what he wants it to be. And I just really love Zach Braff's style. I think it'll probably have the most amazing soundtrack, because Garden State has the most amazing soundtrack. It's got some good people in the cast, like Kate Hudson, Josh Gad, Jim Parsons. Actually, I kind of hate Jim Parsons. I don't know why I mentioned that. Donald Faison, who he was in Scrubs with. But I really love his style, so I hope this movie's really good. I'd be really disappointed if it wasn't. But my number 2 most anticipated of the year is The Last 5 Years. This film, I'm sure no one really knows what it is or has ever heard of it. I know it because it is my favorite musical of all time. It's the most incredible story that is told in such a different way. It's being directed by Richard Lagrevenez. He did P.S. I Love You. He's not anyone really famous or big. I'm excited because I love the musical so, so much. If they ruin this musical for me, I will be so upset, because no one even knows this musical, really. I know it because I studied musical theater, and because I sing, and because I've performed basically every single song in this musical, so they all have this really special place in my heart. The song Still Hurting is like my favorite song to sing ever. It's just the most beautiful song. Anna Kendrick is starring. I really like her, and I don't know if she's like the first person I would have imagined in this role of Kathy, but I hope she does it justice. She's a good singer, she's a good actress. I don't think she really fits the role exactly, but I'm so excited that people are going to see the story, so I don't care at this point. I know most people, like, it's kind of high on my list for something that could potentially be ruined, but I'm just so curious as to what they're going to do with it. The male actor's Jeremy Jordan, who's playing Jamie, and I don't know who that is, so whatever. Hopefully he's good. Jason Robert Brown is the composer, and he's just the most incredible composer. His musicals are all so amazing. His music is also amazing. It's about this couple, Jamie and Kathy, and it's about the last 5 years of their relationship. But it starts with Kathy telling the story backwards. So for her, at the very beginning of the play, they've just broken up. And it alternates between her and Jamie. They're the only two characters in the whole thing. They're the only two people on stage ever, and they're not even ever on stage at the same time. There's only one scene where they're on stage at the same time. So Kathy is telling the story of their relationship from the time they've broken up and then ends where they've just met. And Jamie starts when they've just met and ends when they've broken up. So it's just alternating scenes between Kathy and Jamie. She's just broken up with him, he's just met her, and he's telling the story forwards and she's telling it backwards, and it just keeps alternating between them. And the only time they're ever on stage together is in the very middle of the play where they get married. And then the end of the play, she has just met him and he's just breaking up with her. So it's this really cool perspective thing, timeline thing. Timing in this musical is so important. It's a really, really beautiful story. The music in it is just the best thing ever. And I hope so much that this movie does it justice, that it comes out this year. I think it's supposed to come out this year. That's another one I'm not quite sure about. I know they're filming it. Anna Kendrick has Instagrammed pictures of them on set and stuff. So I feel like I'm hopeful for this. I don't know how they're gonna do it because in the play they're the only two characters in the whole thing. I don't know if they're gonna bring in other characters. I'm sure they're gonna be together in the movie the whole time. It's not gonna alternate like it does in the play where only one of them is ever on stage at once. And my number one most anticipated of the year is Richard Linklater's Boyhood. Now this just got announced that it's premiering at Sundance, which I already wanted to go to Sundance, and now I'm extra upset that I'm not going, because I didn't even know this movie was going to come out this year at all until I heard that it's premiering at Sundance. It's obviously going to get distributed and picked up, and will be in theaters soon, so I guess I'll just be patient. But this project is Richard Linklater. He's been working on it for 12 years, and it's just kind of groundbreaking what he's doing, and what he always does. He's so smart. He's such a smart man. I really love Richard Linklater. If you don't know who he is, he directed Before Sunrise, Before Sunset, and Before Midnight, and Waking Life. Those 4 movies are all, they're my favorite of all time. Waking Life is one of my favorite of all time. I'm so in love with these movies. If you know me, you know that. I'm sure you're tired of me saying that. But Boyhood, basically, it's about a boy and his parents get divorced, and it's about the impact of that on him, but he literally ages through the film because they film every summer for 12 years, so this boy is actually growing up on film in the movie. He's going to be aging, which is friggin' incredible. I'm so obsessed with that idea and just the way that Richard Linklater plays with these concepts of time, and he's done it with the Before series, and now he's doing it with this in a whole other way. Ethan Hawke plays his father, Patricia Arquette plays the mother, and it's directed by Richard Linklater, so that's basically all you have to say to me for me to be excited about this movie. So yeah, that's my top 10 most anticipated of the year. I hope that you found something in there that maybe you can get excited about, or if you didn't, I'm sorry. But I would love to hear what you're excited about. Please comment on the video and we can talk about some cool movies that look to be coming out this year. Yeah, 2014. I'm excited for some films this year, and hopefully they'll be good. So, as always, I'm Adriana. My blog is Fresh from the Theater. If you like what you see, please subscribe. Thanks so much for watching.